Jindal's Curry Catastrophe. Once there lived a man who was called Jindal, but everyone called him Vindaloo. They called him this as he was a man who loved curry. No, that'd be an understatement. He was a curry-aholic. He lived off the stuff. He'd have curry on toast for breakfast with curry milk, spaghetti with curry for lunch, a plain dish of extra hot curry for dinner, curry ice cream for dessert, and to top it all off, a swig of diet curry coke. Jindal lived in an apartment in a small village in Derbyshire, but the whole block was deserted as the reek of curry was so strong it could make an elephant faint. Not that Jindal could work that one out. Ideally, he was a worker at a nose plug factory, so all workers didn't have to tolerate the utterly monstrous stench that was Vindaloo. Now this part is quite vital to the story, so listen carefully. The seemingly endless supply of masalas and butter chickens were all bought by Vindaloo himself from a local Indian store around 3 miles west of his little village. The owner of this shop was an eccentric and a rather bald man whose voice was so horrible it made your ears bleed, literally. One miserably grey and drab morning, Jindal was on his way to the small shop, as he'd been feeling rather peckish that morning and had raided his supplies. After arriving at Sir Bald's store, this wasn't his real name, but it's what the locals called him, he went straight to the curry section, but it was empty. Quickly, Jindal sprinted across the aisles. All were empty. His face was the definition of fear and distress. His mind raced. There were no more stores selling curries for hundreds of miles around. What would he do? How would he go on? "Mr. Shopkeeper," stuttered Jindal, "what's happened to the curries?" "Sunk. The cargo ship from India went under in some freak accident," was his answer. A single tear rolled down Jindal's cheek. The next day was the worst of Jindal's life. He bought himself a burger, whatever that was, and the nose plug factory was bought by a new company who were keeping what they were going to produce secret, so he wasn't paid for months. The whole burger saga was worse, though. After having placed it in his unfortunate mouth and swallowed, his body decided otherwise. Next was pizza. More sick. So it went on all day. When Jindal, feeling rather sick, put Chinese food into his mouth, it was a delight, full of flavour and excitement. He'd never felt so alive. Forgetting his old passion rather momentously, Jindal took to Chinese food. A few months later, the factory opened and life went back to normal. Well, mostly. On his first day back, Jindal smelt a rather putrid smell. "You, curry?"